As the countdown to the 2026 Six Nations gathers pace, attention inevitably turns to England, last season's runners-up and a side carrying both renewed confidence and the weight of expectation. Under Steve Borthwick, the Red Rose appear closer than at any point in the past decade to ending a trophy drought that stretches back to the disrupted pandemic years, and in truth, even further. Since lifting the Grand Slam in 2016, England's journey has been defined by frustration and near misses. They have reached a World Cup final and come within a minute of winning another. Yet in the Six Nations, they have finished fifth as often as first. For a union with the deepest playing pool, biggest budget, and most developed domestic league in the world, that record has long felt like an underachievement. And yet, heading into the 2026 championship, optimism is justified. Momentum finally with the Red Rose England arrive at this Six Nations on the back of an extended unbeaten run that includes victories over New Zealand and France. Results that would have seemed fanciful not so long ago. They finished second last year and, since then, have not lost a test match. A settled squad, relatively few injuries, and a favorable fixture list all point toward an opportunity that cannot be squandered. Borthwick has been unusually direct in his ambition, openly challenging his squad to arrive in Paris for the final round with a Grand Slam still on the table. That alone marks a shift in tone. For years, England coaches have spoken of process and development. Now, the language is about winning. The turning point, Dublin, February 2025. To understand England's current position, it is necessary to revisit the moment when everything nearly unraveled. The opening match of the 2025 Six Nations in Dublin ended in defeat, and not just any defeat, but one that exposed all of England's lingering weaknesses. Leading at halftime, England collapsed after the break, conceding 27 unanswered points, including 4 tries between the 35th and 72nd minutes. It was their 6th loss in 7 tests, and worryingly familiar in shape and substance. For Borthwick, it was confirmation that incremental tweaks were no longer enough. He had already made a significant leadership call by replacing Jamie George with Maro Itoje as captain on the eve of the tournament, seeking a sharper edge and more intensity from his side. But Dublin showed that England's problems ran deeper, particularly in conditioning. Fixing the engine room, England's inability to sustain performance levels beyond 50 minutes had been a growing concern. The introduction of enhanced player contracts in late 2024 was designed to give the national coaching staff greater influence over conditioning programs, but the effects were not immediately visible. Compounding matters was the sudden departure of 3 key coaches between the autumn internationals and the Six Nations. Felix Jones, defense; Tom Tomlinson, fitness; and Aled Walters, strength and conditioning. The losses were largely unexplained publicly, but they pointed toward internal turbulence. Borthwick remained unperturbed. He moved swiftly to appoint Dan Tobin from Gloucester as strength and conditioning coach and committed fully to a shift in England's playing identity, from a forward-heavy, attritional side to one capable of operating at higher tempo for longer periods. That IT was a gamble, and it required patience. The France game that changed belief, England's second match of the 2025 championship, was meant to be a reality check. France arrived at Twickenham having demolished England there on their previous visit, and few outside the home camp gave the hosts much chance. Yet, while Les Blues carved England open repeatedly, they also made critical errors. England stayed alive, clung on, and capitalized late. A pivotal decision saw Finn Smith replace Marcus Smith at fly-half, with the latter moving to fullback. The gamble paid off. Finn Smith set up and converted a late try to seal a 26-25 victory done on the scoreboard. The difference between defeat and victory was a single point. Psychologically, it was enormous. Confidence breeds momentum. 2 weeks later, England edged Scotland by 1 point at Mayfield. Hardly a classic, but a vital breakthrough after 4 consecutive Calcutta Cup defeats. The sense of fragility that had haunted the side evaporated almost overnight. From there, England exploded. In their final 2 Six Nations matches against Italy and Wales, they scored 17 tries, finishing the tournament as runners-up but arguably the form side. The momentum did not stop there. England swept unbeaten through a summer tour of Argentina and the USA, despite being without 15 British and Irish Lions, and followed that by claiming their first 4-win autumn window in 9 years. By the end of 2025, Team Borthwick had gone from uncertain project to genuine contender point 2026. Opportunity knocks the fixture list could hardly be kinder. England open at home against Wales, whom they dismantled 68-14 in Cardiff last year, and then have 5 weeks to prepare for their trip to France in the final round. On current form, they should reach Paris unbeaten. The most dangerous obstacle is Scotland away in round 2, where England have won just twice since 2017. Ireland at Twickenham is always fraught, but England's home form has become a fortress once more. Still, history urges caution. Since Martin Johnson lifted the World Cup in 2003, England have managed just 1 Grand Slam. Only Scotland and Italy have fewer in that period. For all their resources, England have too often been the classic example of potential unfulfilled. As Eric Morecambe once joked of his piano playing, England have frequently been playing all the right notes, just not necessarily in the right order. Selection clarity at last. What feels different now is clarity. Borthwick has settled on combinations, trusted form, and resisted the urge to tinker unnecessarily. Behind the scenes, Phil Morrow, appointed performance director last summer, has ensured England's players are physically prepared for the demands of modern Test rugby. England now boasts a 23-man output that rivals even South Africa's. Borthwick's data-driven approach has identified 2 key areas of advantage: short kicking to regather and exploiting the third quarter, when defensive systems loosen and benches empty. Players such as Guy Pepper, Henry Pollock, and Alex Mitchell have been identified as ideal chaos merchants, comfortable when games fracture and capable of raising tempo decisively. Key players, experience, and edge. England's depth at fly half epitomizes their renewed strength. George Ford, absent early in 2025, returned once both Smith departed with the Lions and promptly reclaimed the number 10 jersey. Ford's influence is profound. His speed of thought, tactical command, and common traffic have made him indispensable. He's getting better and better, says Sale Sharks director of rugby Alex Anderson. Watching Ford train, you would swear he is a player coach. Up front, Ellis Genge sets the emotional tone. The Bristol prop brings power, confrontation, and leadership in equal measure. A Lion with an unmistakable edge. T scrum half. England need Alex Mitchell firing. In the November window, he initiated more line breaks from broken play than any other number 9. His speed of delivery and instinctive support play could be decisive. Young guns ready to ignite. England's depth is such that emerging talents are pushing relentlessly. Saracens teenager Noah Calurai may yet break through, while Bath's Billy Sela, just 20, has already shown Champions Cup pedigree. But for now, attention centers on the youngsters who lit up late 2025. Henry Pollock has risen meteorically, leaving his imprint on almost every game he plays. Guy Pepper, meanwhile, announced himself with man-of-the-match performances in premiership finals before translating that form seamlessly to Test rugby. Pepper's resemblance to mentor Richard Hill is uncanny. Understated, intelligent, brutally effective. Out wide, Tommy Freeman and Emmanuel Fewaboso offered genuine cutting edge. Freeman made history last year by scoring in all 5 Six Nations matches, while Fewaboso's aerial prowess has added a new dimension to England's attack. Prospects that a Grand Slam decider between England and France, with both unbeaten, will be a dream scenario for the tournament. France may still get the nod as favorites, but England are closer than they have been in a decade. Second place? Possibly. Champion? No longer a stretch at England's 2026 Six Nations fixtures. Saturday, February 7th. Wales, Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. Saturday, February 14th, Scotland, Scottish Gasme Field, Edinburgh. Saturday, February 21st, Ireland, Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. Saturday, March 7th, Italy, Stadio Olimpico, Rome. Saturday, March 14th, France, Stade de France, Paris. For England, the hunters are becoming the hunted. The question now is whether they can finish the job.